Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada 5 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Robin Yesme. Robin, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it, and I hope you're having a great day. And if you guys want to be house guests today, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Oh my god, there's been so much drama I have to tell you about. So, yesterday, William clued Kevin in on Jackie's campaigning, and he was all, she told me if she won the HOH, she'd put up you and Demetres, but Demetres would be the target. That's a lie. Jackie does not want to tell William that Kevin is her target, even though he absolutely is. But guess what? William doesn't believe her anyway. But he also doesn't think that Jackie would nominate him. So William's like, well, you know, if you're up on the block and I'm not, I can win the power veto and save you. That's not going to happen every time, William. So then Kevin says, it's probably better at this point for you if Jackie stays, but better for me if Aika stays. So we'll see. Kevin's been very non-committal this week. He's letting everybody else decide what's going to happen. We'll see. So then, Dylan and his mother version of Emily, aka Karen, were chatting out by the pool. And Karen's like, I don't know, I think that she says, Demika and Kevin struck a deal. Dylan does not think so. He's like, I don't know about that. And Karen's like, oh yeah? Well, I saw Aika and Kevin high five in the bathroom last week. So, okay. So then Karen says, like, if you want to vote out Jackie, I'll vote out Jackie. What? So at this point, it still seems like Aika could be staying. So then Dylan's like, yeah, I think that's what's best. So then he's saying, I think that Demika, or as they say, Demika, will put up Kevin and William if they win HOH next week. What? I don't think so. But Karen says, you know what, I wanted Kevin and Jackie to go anyway, so this is fine. We're just getting them out in the opposite order. It's all good. And they both agree they don't like Jackie as a person or a player. Ouch! Alright. But Karen, she's still worried that Demika and Kevin made a deal and that they're going to come after them now. Because who else is left? So Dylan's like, I don't know. I just don't want to be on the wrong side of this vote because he thinks if Aika has the votes anyway and gets the 3 to stay, and then the 2 of them vote her out, they're going to be instant targets. So they're all really worried about that this week. It seems like either way, it's probably going to be a unanimous vote just because everybody's so afraid of becoming the next target. So anyway, Demika and Kevin have a check-in in the cave, and they're now calling themselves the business partners. That's like their alliance name. So Kevin says, look guys, I don't have a vote this week. You go right ahead and throw my name out there as your target. If anybody asks you who you're going to go after, just say me. I'm totally fine with that. I know we're good. So he gave them permission to do that. And then Aika's like, yeah, Dre will be totally on board with that because she wants you out. She says Dylan also does. Dylan and Dre are pushing for a final 4 with Demika. Kevin's just like, oh shit. So they both promise each other they're not going to turn their backs on each other, blah, blah, blah. Same stuff. Okay. So then, and this is really interesting, Dre and Dylan were chatting outside, and Dylan says, Demika made a deal with Kevin. Kevin will be safe next week. Hold on a second now. Did he not just get that information from Karen? Karen was the one saying that she thought that they made a deal. And Dylan said, I don't think so. But now he's talking to Dre. And not only is he saying he thinks they have a deal, he's acting like he knows they do. And it's like set in stone. So then, Dre is like, oh really? Well, then who are they going after? And Dylan's like, he claims that he saw Kevin and Aika smiling in the bathroom and high-fiving. He is stealing Karen's stuff. Oh my god, this is so ridiculous. So Dylan is like, I'm afraid that we're getting played by Demika. Me and Karen are going to be the next targets if Jackie goes this week. What is happening? He just took all of this information from Karen, is using it as his own. He's freaking plagiarizing here. And whereas Karen was saying, like, she thought this happened and she thinks there's a deal, Dylan's like, there's a deal. It definitely happened. Dre's like, I don't think this is a real deal. It doesn't mean shit. You know, it's probably some fake deal. They're just playing with Kevin. And she says, if Aika doesn't tell me about this deal by Wednesday, I'll let you know. Psh, I would not hold your breath. Okay, so I have to return to Arrow. There's a lot of arrows in today's notes. It's very confusing. So then, Karen and William were out in the hot tub. It's so weird to hear these two talk game. I guess it's weird to hear William talk to anyone other than Dre or Kevin or maybe Aika. But Karen is like, if Jackie goes this week, am I going to be next? And William's like, no, what? So then Karen says, well, neither Jackie nor Aika are good for my game. Like, I don't really want to keep either of them. It's kind of like picking the lesser of two evils. So then Karen's asking, do you think that Demetres made a deal with Kevin? And William's like, oh, no, definitely not. William thinks if Kevin made any other deals, he would absolutely know about it. No outside deals allowed. You know that's what he's thinking. But anyway, Karen says she feels like she's going to go up no matter what. You know, no matter who stays. Of course she thinks that. So she tells William if she wins HOH, she wouldn't even consider putting William up. Because William said he heard from somebody that Karen was thinking about nominating him. And Karen was just like, what the hell? I never said that. I wouldn't even think about that. So William says, same Z's, I wouldn't put you up. Alright. Now we're back to this page. So today, we're gonna do a little gear change here. William is really upset with Kevin. He did not sleep in the HOH room with him last night. Apparently, Karen was talking to William and Kevin, and she was like, oh, William, you're like Kevin's Peely this season. And Kevin was like, no, not at all. Yeah, so William didn't like that. Also, Kevin was telling William about the whole Niagara meetup that they do after each Big Brother Canada season, and how they're going to meet a lot of guys and girls after the show, and it's going to be so much fun. Okay, not together. So he didn't like that either. So Aika and Dre were talking about the Kevin and William situation, and they're just like, we told William to be careful. You know, he brought this on himself, kind of. So everybody can see that Kevin is not that into William. He needs to watch that movie. And Aika says, I have seen firsthand Kevin with Peely, and he's completely different with her. He's freaking head over heels in love with her. This is not like that. So Aika is realizing Kevin is not a bad guy. This is not his fault. They've warned William so many times. Kevin has been honest with him. And she's noticed a lot of times it's William pushing himself on Kevin. So she's like completely changing her tune here. We'll come back to that in a bit. Alright, Karen and Dylan, hot tub time machine chat. So Karen, last time they talked, it seemed like they were ready to keep Aika and vote out Jackie. So now Karen is saying, I really don't like Jackie, but Demetres is super strong and we're going to have to break them up. And Karen is really nervous about how close Dre is with Demetres and Aika. That's a very powerful trio. And again, that's another person that they probably would not want to put up on the block. They don't realize how pissed Aika is at Dre right now. But Dylan's saying, alright, if we can get William, I'm good with voting out Aika. That's 3 votes. What is going on here? So Karen agrees. Aika's gotta go. Ah! Okay, so this morning, Aika was talking to Kevin about the William situation. It was similar to the conversation that she had with Dre. So she lets Kevin know, William is unintentionally making you look bad to the house and to all of Canada. Everybody thinks that you're disgusting for preying on William because they really see William as like the poor boy. He's innocent and naive and childlike. And Kevin is not that much older than William, but he just has more of a maturity about him. He's a little bit more worldly than William, I guess. So a lot of people are like painting Kevin to be this villain. So Aika says even she felt that way at one point. Now she's realizing it's not Kevin's fault, so she apologizes for feeding into that. She tells Kevin, I don't want you to receive backlash outside of the house. And Kevin's like, yeah, I've been trying to push William away. I'm not about that, you know? So, during that conversation, Demetres was called to the diary room. He went out for his test drive with Cindy. We'll come back to him in a bit. Okay, so Aika was then campaigning to Karen a little while later, and she tells Karen, if I'm not going to get your vote, I just want you to tell me. And Karen's like, I think you're going to stay this week. So Aika says, okay, Karen, I would not put you up if I win HOH. And Karen asks, so what are your options? There aren't that many people left. And Aika says, pretty much in a roundabout way, that she would put up Kevin and William. Now, remember, Kevin gave her permission to throw his name out there. So then Karen's like, oh, William? Someone told William that I would put him up. And Aika doesn't miss a beat. She was like, it was probably Jackie. And Karen says, yup. So Karen was just going on and on about how she's at the bottom. You know how it is. All right. So then Kevin and William were out by the hot tub. Now, Kevin has this information about how he's probably not looking so good to Canada right now. So Kevin asks, like, is everything okay? Because keep in mind, too, William did not sleep in the HOH room last night. So there's obviously some tension there. So William says that he's hurt about that Peely conversation. And he really felt hurt the way that Kevin answered, because he sounded like he was disgusted. And, like, William was not on the same level as Peely. And Kevin says, I fell in love with Peely on the show. It's not like that with you. So he is trying to be honest here. But William is really hung up on the way that Kevin reacted. He felt, again, like Kevin was disgusted. And Kevin says, we're friends, we flirt, we do things. Okay. But it's not much more than that. Ugh, awky. So then Kevin leaves this. He goes to the HOH room where Aika and Dre were already waiting for him. He knew that they were going to be up there. And again, it was similar to the conversation that he had this morning with Aika. This time, Dre is there too. And it's so funny. Okay, so this was kind of like an intervention of sorts. But I don't know if you guys have watched The Kroll Show. When they have the interventions in Canada and it's more of like a suggestion and the person's just like, is this a suggestion? It's like that. So anyway, they both apologize for contributing, you know, feeding into the Kevin Williams situation, making Kevin look like a villain when he's not. And I mean, he has said in the DR that he's gonna use his sexuality to get further in the game. So they're both guilty here, right? But anyway, Kevin has told William it's not like that. Whatever. So then Dre starts spilling some of the stuff that William has confided in her, which was kind of like not cool of her. But during this conversation, Demetres returns from the test drive. So freaking hours later, he comes back in the house to the same discussion that he left during this morning. You gotta think he was like, oh my god, I gotta get the F out of here. So he lets them know he only had like 10 to 15 minutes with Cindy. He's not allowed to talk about what they talked about. I need to know if she told him about Dre's goodbye message to Bruno. So Demetres is telling them about the real world and how like shell-shocked he was, how crazy it was. He said, I saw someone walking in the park and we were by a gas station and it was crazy. And the whole time Demetres is talking about it, Dre is like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know how she says that all the time. But I want to know what Cindy told him. Hopefully we'll be able to get something out of his discussions with Aika. We're going to talk about that more tomorrow. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who do you think's going at this point? Because it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. And you know it's going to flip-flop 1,000 more times. Flip-flop Floaterville, Karen? Alright, so let me know what you guys think. And until tomorrow, much love.